Hey guys, it's Iconic here, and in this video I will be showcasing a farming strategy I came up with, which is designed to be as AFK as they come. And now, when I say it's AFK, I don't mean any build can just AFK it. I am more thinking somewhere along the lines of like minion builds. Now, other builds can maybe AFK. It would just take more prep work. But in any case, without further ado, let's just go right into the PoE planner. With this strategy, we are focusing on Blight. And the reason we're going for Blight, and specifically, we're trying to get golden oil. But the reason we went for Blight in this case is Blight is one of those strategies where you do not need much investment to even start out, like performing really good on, making good money. But to take it a step further, Blight with this build just involve you standing in one spot, casting one ability every so often, and just repeating until it's done. And this takes anywhere from 2 minutes, a minute and a half, to like 3 minutes. And with that time, just to clear a map, you could easily make 1 2 3 golden oil, which currently go for, let me just check real quick. So a golden oil currently goes for 60c, and but I've been just selling them at one div for about 4 or 5. You might, I sell it for 2 div for 9, so it's kind of like for 1 div for 4.5. Anyways, we're specking into Blight, but we're not going for any chance at Blight because we're going to be using Blight Scarabs for it. So 4% chance to contain a Blight encounter. We ignore all these nodes, but we grab this Blight circle because you can ignore this one if if your build is able to take it without doing any towers. Well, I would recommend just having some reduced cost because, like I said, we're going to be using some scarabs. We're going to be using a sextant in particular, and this sextant happens to double the cost in light towers. So because of this, we want reduced cost just to kind of help out with the initial setting up, just so it's a lot quicker and less risky. I currently didn't allocate all the points in the PoE tree, and the reason I didn't allocate all the points is because my character actually does not have all the points. I never got around to getting 132 over 132. So this is like just 1 point below. But we can always just allocate the extra point into blocking more mechanics because they don't really matter. You can leave more, but we're not specking into any except essences and lights and maps. We'll go over why we go into maps well for now. And a little bit of shrines. You can always spend the extra points in blocking mechanics. You can take off some points from blocking mechanics. Take off some points in the tower nodes in case your build is like strong enough to just not require any towers altogether. And then put them in like maybe more shrines. You can go maybe something along the lines of strong boxes. I've tested both out, and I didn't like having to look for strong boxes because that kind of increased the time of each map. I just went with shrines instead because they appear very boldly on the map. Because the secondary, or I guess the third mechanic you were going into is just something that we don't really care about finding. If we find it, it's good. If we don't, oh well, you know, we don't really care too much about it. So we spec into Blight, mycelial swarm. We don't need this. We can actually untick this node in particular, but we do want every single thing around it. The reason we can keep this on is if you want to do a niche strategy where you can have the Blight crafting option available, and then just you use a scarab, I believe. And what was it? There was a way to do it where you use a scarab, and then you maybe use a crafting option if I remember correctly, and you would get two blights on the map. There's like only one way to get two blights on the map, and you don't have to, but if you want to go that route, you can, but you will not get two blights every map. But it's it is something to keep in mind. These nodes are optional. You can decide to remove these blight monster increase damage and reduce cost, increase durability if your build is strong enough. I chose to leave it in here just so more build types can use this strategy. Fully spec into Exarch. We get the right node of Exarch here. We don't go for the left. You can if you want to, just to get more incandescent drops, but I found that the 10% chance is not the most rewarding, but it's an option that's available to you. This is one of the important nodes. You want to be able to drop additional anointed jewelry, and this is where you get a lot of golden oils from. The reason you would want this is you have if you are currently using Awaken Trade, you just pick up any jewelry that shows up on your loot filter after you complete the blight, and you check the oils. Now, if you see a golden oil, you would want to extract it with an oil extractor. Let me show you in game. This is what the oil extractor is. So you would use this on the jewelry, and typically, so long as it has a golden, like just one gold on a ring, I would extract it. If it has one gold an amulet, I might not. I probably will, because it's more profit if you play the odds game with gold. Silver, however, unless it's a guaranteed silver, I typically don't bother extracting it. So that would be a ring that has double silver. Then I would extract that too. Um, like I said, the easiest way to do it is just POE trade the ring and see POE awaken train the ring and see what the anoint consists of. But you definitely want that node in particular. We pick up chance to get oil extractors just to try to sustain the oil extractors, but in my experience, you will not sustain it completely, and you will still need to buy. But this is still a really good node. You also want your oils to have a 25% chance to be one tier higher. This is really good for you. This is a really good and very profitable node. You don't want to avoid this one. And other than all these blight nodes we went for, we just respect into additional essence. 15% chance to have three additional essences. Freaking essence. If these two are optional nodes, if you want Remnant of Corruptions, then go for it. I use Remnant of Corruptions on my essences sometimes. Depends on how quick I want the maps to be. And of course, you take the middle essence node, which increases the tiers of your essences, and this which duplicates freaking essences. Then you just take every quant and rarity node in the center. You can decide to remove these if you want a secondary mechanic too, but I like having these there for the oils. And this about covers the strategy. Now we also spec into maps. So we pick up a lot of these 0.5 maps to duplicated and singular focus. Now we go for singular focus because on my build specifically, the poison skeleton mages, it performs best like AFK in dunes. And the reason we're going for dunes favored and only dunes is because dunes is a very open space. So the projectiles from your poison skeleton mages and your archers have room to just fly and hit the pack multiple times. They're not obstructed by walls. No, the projectiles, they might hit a rock or two here and there, but for the most part, they can shoot all around the pump, and you don't really have to worry about too much. Then we get more map nodes. In terms of mods we cannot roll on this strategy, we want to just avoid anything that gives the monsters a chance to avoid elemental ailments, such as freezing, such as like um cannot be brought below certain action speed. Any of those mods that would stop them from being frozen, you want to avoid that. And you also want to avoid 50% chance to avoid poison, or maybe I don't mind increased chaos res, doesn't affect me too much. But if you're not on a higher tier version of this build, for example, or you might not want that. And of course, you don't want to run any maps your build in particular cannot handle. If you can handle elemental reflect, don't run a reflect map, because this strategy would have you doing more work or less work depending on how AFK your build allows it to be, essentially. And with that, we can head into a map. We're currently running a regular 75% quant. I could corrupt this, it doesn't matter too much to me. The only mod that would break it for me is 50% chance to avoid poison and freeze, and avoid elemental ailments, because if we're using free stars. Oh, and I forgot to mention earlier, we also run with a sextant. Now there are two sextants I would suggest that you could go for, but this is the most important. The most important sextant is oils found in your maps are one tier higher. So if you're gonna get a silver oil, it will get upgraded to a golden instantly. You'd get the same amount of oils. It just boosts your profit by so much money to increase the number of oils you would have overall. Now, if you were to go a second sextant, what I would suggest you went for, I don't know if I still have any left, is you'd go for the essence sextants, which I don't have any left. But you'd essentially go for the essence sextants, which give you a chance at um essence of corruption. No, essence of corruption. This thing. Let me find them real quick. Remnant of corruption. Yes, it gives you a chance at remnant of corruption, and it gives you an extra essence on your map. It would add some time to like your average map runs, just because you have a second essence to go through. But overall, it's still more profit per map, and I would recommend it if you want to. I don't bother with it anymore. So let's just head into the map, so you can see how AFK this strategy really is. First things first, let's let this speed up a bit. Good. So we just run down. You can run down the center. We found the essence already, which is good. Two essences. Okay. Beautiful. One down. Let's... Oh, this one has Soul Eater, huh? Doesn't affect me too much. In any case, oh, there's a third essence this time, huh? That's nice. And here we have a strong box. Oh, there's a rogue exile. Yeah. Is it tormented? Yes, a tormented one. One thing to note about this strategy and the way I have the map portion set up is, with the current map system, it kind of eats your other Blight Ravage maps, so you only get Dune Blight Ravage. But if you plan on running them yourself, you can do that. If you don't, then don't worry about it. So before the strategy starts, you want to drop a portal. If you don't have a portal on deaths, if your build cannot handle a portal on death, then you can't have one, obviously. And this is all the strategy entails, really. You stand here and you let your skeletons kill everything. This is the part where it actually gets AFK, and every once in a while you just refresh browse someone's skeletons. You maybe left click so summon your regular skeletons. If you want, you can actually go along the lines of walking around like now they are bosses. You could fill them up. I would recommend building freeze towers just to impede some monster spawn. It's all choice if you want to. If you don't really have to do anything. With the way the build is set up with like chance, when I kill an enemy, I get held back. If I get damage, I get held back. If I kill an enemy, I get energy shield back. So my build is really cut out for this. We pick up all these blue rings, which would have various anoints on them, and then we'll check them out later, and then we just pick up our loot. And that was that's how quick a blight goes. We're done with the map. We go on to the next one. If you find a dunes map during your map, then perfect. You're sustaining your dune maps. If you don't, you might eventually have to maybe run a complete map all through just so you get all the dune maps. But you essentially want dune maps. You want to sustain yours. If you can't, then you can't. And just from that, we've made some currency. We can look at the rings. Let me show. Um, okay. Let me show my POE trade. Okay. We have that sorted out. This is not worth it, so we destroy it. Destroy. We destroy this. So long as it doesn't have a golden, this has a golden. It's risky because it's 1 in 3, but should be fine. You can try this one because it has a silver if you just want currency, right? But a part of me doesn't want to, just because silvers are what 20C, so it's still like double the price of the extractor you lose if you don't get it. And if it's a 1 in 2 chance, then silvers are 25. So long as you get 1 out of every 3 attempts, you're still profitable, really. So go unlucky there. Extract this one. Do we get lucky? Nope, we do not. And that's just the nature of the game. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. And we just rinse and repeat the strategy. I think I just ran out of mods, but you get the gist of it. Um, you want to run it with the mod. It's big profits, or it's fast profits. It's not the best profit out there by any means, but it's very comfortable profit and it's low effort, like very low effort. Like it only takes me a few minutes to get like 1 2 minutes to get through a map, and I've made um upwards of 60C most likely in the way of like essences and oils. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to like, it really helps me out, and I will see you guys in the next video.